Good morning. Happiest of Sundays. Let's welcome in James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
Hey.
The link to his channel is the only link, really the only thing in the description of this video. Because I didn't quite know what to put in the description for Never Ever Mets because it's a hot mess. But I do encourage everybody to subscribe to both channels. We'll be live on his channel afterward. I do have my voice back, kind of. But my husband says I still sound sick. I am under the weather, so if anybody struggles to hear me, do not hesitate to ask me to repeat something if you missed it. I got the flu, so just bear with me. I'm doing the best I can, child.
You sound great. You sound great. Yeah, you're fine.
Thank you. I hate coming on the internet. You don't think about that when doing YouTube. You're like, wait, this isn't like work. I can't just call out. But we are here to go over Never Ever Mets. They are back. This is season 2, episode 2, titled "The More the Merrier." The more bullshit, the merrier. My headache. That's how I viewed it, because
absolutely.
What the heck? Who did they choose? Why
I'm trying to figure out, like, why everybody got the same damn secret, and why do we have to go through this?
It irked me. So for those who are familiar with my channel, who have watched the Love After Lockup recaps, I'm going to format Never Ever Mets the same way. I do Love After Lockup because it's easier than ping-ponging and going through everything that happened, because if you hear, you watch the episode likely. And this was everywhere, so it just works. And for those who are unsure, when I do Love After Lockup, the couples that are discussed in the episode, I discuss everything that happened with those couples as we go. Some of it I did format a little bit differently because Love After Lockup's more open. This is a less open format. So just bear with me. I'm trying something new. If you like it, yay. If you don't, speak up so I can know to change it. But we're going to start with Charlie and Jared. I guess I could put the little graphic up from OWN's website, because this is actually irking me, this screen. So let me see if it'll work while I am on the live, so that y'all can know who the heck we're talking about. Kind of. It's small. But Charlie and Jared, we're going to talk about them first. So we left the last episode with basically Charlie revealing that not only does she have a baby on him that she just had a month ago, youaintshit.com.net.org. I don't care. I don't want to hear shit from any of you women. You're not a mom, Mrs. Best. You don't get it. Sometimes people who aren't parents are better parents than the people who are parents could ever be, because I was very selective in becoming a parent or not becoming a parent. I have zero respect for any bitch that walks away from a 1-month-old baby to go run after some nigga from across the country. I'm not going to be nice, and I'm not going to get past it. I'm not saying she's a bad person, but she's a questionable parent. I won't even say she's a bad parent, but she's questionable. Because in what way can a man be so powerful to you that you leave your baby? And the same goes for men, because if you're a father, you should take that just as seriously as being a mom. We have to stop the moms take it more serious narrative. If you're a parent, you should take it serious. So we learned that they both have babies on each other. Now, she also has 4 kids. He thought she just had 1, but she got 4. One of them she didn't know about, and 2 of them she was hiding. He says that he has a baby as well at home and calls it a newborn. Says the baby was born 6 months ago. That ain't no newborn. That baby halfway. That baby ready for solid foods. Stop it. That baby about to cut a tooth. That baby is sleep trained. That's a 6-month-old. Like, what James? I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, I'm just relieved because, I mean, hey, like, no, like this is
like, I called that. I said he either been with a man or he had a baby as well.
You sure did.
And I was like, but I told y'all, and I still feel this same way. I don't care that he had a baby on her. I do not care. And the reason why I don't care is because at the end of the day, she hid 3 babies, not just 1, but 3. So even though they're equally as guilty and had the same secret, it's different when you're hiding 1 baby versus hiding 3.
Yep.
That's 2 different things, because it means somewhere down the line, like Mrs. Best said, you're choosing a man over your kids. And for that not to be a red flag for him, that is crazy. And then also, not to mention, I don't know if she knew about his oldest child, because they glazed over that.
You
So
know,
yeah,
you could tell
these
production
two.
was just so focused on like, ooh, seek your babies, seek your babies. And this is again, not only to James clock it, but y'all get mad at me sometimes in the comment. I be seeing my little message request. This hurt my feelings on live. I had to unsubscribe. I can give a flying fuck. This is why I don't feel people who have kids should date people who don't have kids and vice versa. It doesn't work. It doesn't. Because even in that case, you're still trying to learn who has them, who doesn't. And this shows that people with kids will lie,
Yeah.
steal, cheat, and whatever to get to the person and get them to link into that bond before dropping a huge bomb on them. Children is something that we should all take seriously, whether we're parents or not. And these people treat it like it's just a fucking joke, and it irks me. Now, what really annoyed me was we needed to go into the details, and you kind of touched on that a little bit, and they didn't touch on the details. Now with her, we kind of got some of the details. They wasn't in the best place. She went out, slept with somebody, got pregnant, right? But with him, there's zero context, zero detail. And I feel like if you're going to out this woman as having a maybe baby and hella different kids, likely with hella different baby daddies and things like that, if you're going to out this woman and paint her to be a certain way on, then paint him to be the same as well, because he also ain't shit. He also is loose. He's also irresponsible, because y'all two, what does it say, have been dating for 4.5 years. So at what point were you guys going to tell each other the truth? You was just going to live your life separately, hoping that no one ever knew about kids. And it's like, my husband and me were joking because through the episode, we find out some other people have some issues too, which we'll talk about. But my husband was like, what the hell? I said, where are they hiding these kids? Because whether your baby is 17, 10 years old, or 5, kids is loud as hell.
Yep.
Kids is loud as hell. So
It's
I'm like,
given she don't have full custody of her children.
there's no way that she does.
There's no way.
Like,
I'm not, and I agree with that. I just thought that same thing. I was like, okay, so you must not have full custody of your children, or they always at your mama house. Because yes, small baby children. Her oldest is 12. She has
right.
a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. At least the 5-year-old is gonna make some noise somewhere down the line where that's questionable.
Hey, Shayna.
Hi, Shayna. But no, I'm sorry. I'm with you on this one, Mrs. Best. I'm sorry. I'm with you on this. There is something not right here. It's given he got a girlfriend. And he's talking to her on the side.
My husband and me was trying to figure it out. My husband said, you can't even take people like this seriously. And it be people with kids that be wanting to be taken seriously. I got a kid, so I got a date for this. I got to take it seriously. Not from these folks. You would think that we in an episode or of the Chronicles of Narnia again. She must throw the kids in the closet and they go off to a magical kingdom somewhere. Because how are you keeping them quiet for so damn long? Me and my husband was joking. We said it's something going on.
It's
the
something
Willy
going
Wonka
on. Yes.
factories under the house. Where are the babies?
That's what I'm saying. Like, where are the kids? Like, them poor kids. Like, the fact that you just went on TV and just embarrass yourself like this. Like, I'm sorry. Girl, get out of my face. And I'm more mad at her than I am at him for some reason. I'm not as mad as him because I kind of expected that. I did. I kind of expected this from him. But from her, it's a whole lot different. It just is.
I also think it's a difference between 6 months. A child at 6 months is like getting ready to make some big changes as it relates to motor skills, and we're getting ready to do things, unless it's Krishan Rock's baby, but I digress. But a child at 6 months is a child that's a little more established. So I can understand him coming away to a show. It also sounds like, without the context, I'm just going to assume that he doesn't have like this deep relationship with the child's mother. So it's that. But Charlie, your baby was born 30 days ago. You need to be at home. Even if you're not breastfeeding, you need to be at home
with your baby, or
with your
it's
child.
Her baby there, and we're just not seeing it.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
There's no way. Because what are you? Because she lives in Dallas, So for me, what are you like shipping your breast milk to at the U.S. Postal Service? You
That's
know,
a
doing
good
the
point.
hazmat. Like,
Because
what
you
are
got to
we
freeze
doing
it.
here?
That liquid gold has to be taken
Yes,
care
I have
of
to
with
say, actually
care.
refrigerated. So I'm like, her baby has to be there because if her baby is still in Dallas, I'm confused by that. So I agree with you. I was like, it's weird. Like, why aren't you at home? So her baby has to be there.
And it pisses me off because if the baby's there, that's even worse.
That's
Now,
even
I'm
worse.
not a mother.
Exactly. Yeah.
However, I grew up raising my siblings. My mom, I am the oldest sibling. I watched her have all of my siblings. She did not want them to even leave the house too many places outside of the doctor or my grandma. My siblings as babies did not really leave the house like that. So I'm wondering, like, even if you did give birth and that child is with you, they shouldn't be. That child should be in the fucking house at your tit, not on the pump. So it makes me mad. It's women like this who give the good moms, like Shayna, who's commenting,
Shayna.
a
Yes.
bad name. I can't stand it. Yeah, she gets a major
That's a
side
good point
eye.
to bring up, Shayna. She's been drinking this whole time. So what? So are you testing this breast milk?
Well, you
Because
still
I
have
know
to
somebody.
pump. It has to come out. So she still got a pump, drinking or not. Because we watched Kourtney Kardashian drunk as hell years ago when she had her
Yep, I remember
second baby, and she was scared to have fun, and then she had to pump all of her milk and she had to throw it out because the liquor was in it. So I'm just like, but to be doing all of that just a month in, trash. The bitch is trash and her coochie probably is too. I'm sorry. I said what I said and y'all can
I don't see them
cancel me.
lasting anyway, so I'm not even gonna waste too much energy on them.
None of these couples are going to last. None of them. This casting, and Shayna kind of went into that when she was commenting in our last recap. She said they approached her to be on the show. You could tell they just sporadically did this. And I
Yeah.
wish that OWN as a Black network would put more effort into these Black shows. Because when Black people in the background go work on other networks, they do a damn good job. So why are you guys doing a disservice to your own people when working on this? So it irks my soul. But basically, I can't. I just cannot. I just cannot. They irked me. We're gonna move on to Alicia. Alicia, is it Alicia or Alicia? She
I
says she
don't
just
know. She got on my nerves either way. We gonna call her Alish because she get on my because she got on my nerves the entire episode. I was like, oh, get her off my camera.
Now, the host, I call her Portia from Empire. Taronda is her name, though. She comes out and she announces that there's going to be like a little couples activity, which they do on this show. What annoyed me is she introduced herself as like their love expert and all of that. Bitch, you ain't nothing but a host and an actor. Please do not proclaim to be a relationship expert, Taronda, until we can see your own relationship, for one. And for two, you're an actress and this is a gig, but please don't make it seem like you're one of the experts because you're not. But she does have an expert there with them, and they're going to do a game that's supposed to help the couples to build intimacy. Intimacy is much more than sex. Intimacy is also not something that just leads to sex. A lot of people mistake that. But we saw them do these activities last season. I thought there'd be some change, but apparently not. So the next morning comes, and this is when they see Taronda. And I was annoyed because before we could get to the activity, this dumb bitch Charlie, who we was just talking about, and her dumber boyfriend, who to me probably like boys too, and had that baby to prove a point, but I'm gonna digress. They both are worried about telling the rest of the house that they both have kids. Y'all just comfortable lying about your kids. And why do you feel like you owe it to these people anyway?
That's what I was trying. You took the words right out of my mouth. First of all, that ain't none of their fucking business. And then two, Dumb and Dumber is what I'm calling them.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. Because to me, that was the most idiotic thing. Even though Jared at times in this episode made a lot of sense, they're just dumb with it. They're not good together. They're just not. And I feel like, to me, she makes him look stupid. And I think that's what it is. I think that's what I can't wrap my mind around. She makes him look stupid.
He makes himself look stupid.
And he does that too. And there were certain points he made sense in this episode. You'll get to it, I'm sure. But there were certain points he made sense.
Listen, people can make sense of things. At times, Donald Trump makes sense. It's the truth. It's the truth. At times, he makes sense. That's why people who voted for him. They didn't think about what's happening now and eggs being however much money. So yeah, things can make sense from fucking people who don't make any sense. That's a fact of life. Okay, I can make some sense out of something medically, and I'm not a doctor. Listen, that ain't much. I'm not giving these people shit. I don't feel good. I got the flu. They getting on my nerves with this. They getting on my last nerves, James. But they do. They do a little
Girl, come on, we gotta get through this. Come on.
They do a little activity, and basically they paint on each other, and it's supposed to be an exercise about consent while also involving intimacy. They didn't touch on this, which is why I needed more relationship experts there. It was about listening and giving. Also, like people didn't see repeat that. You have to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to listen. So Charlie and them do it, and he draws a little zebra stripe on her. And I was like, what are these zebra stripes about? Like, I'm trying to think in my head. I was like, do zebras represent like something that I'm not thinking of? Am I missing something? This Negro had the audacity to say that he drew the zebra stripe on her to acknowledge that she is Black and that she is his Black queen. Sorry. Cancel me or not, I could give a flying fuck. If this bitch wanted us to know that she was Black or partly Black, she would have said something, because she know from looking at her, we can't tell.
We cannot tell.
There are a lot of people in the Black community. I am dark as hell, chocolate as hell, look African as hell, right? But then my first cousin, my closest cousin, he's Creole, light skin, and look just like every other average American, or people would think that he's of mixed origin, and he's not. So Black people come in all colors, shapes, and sizes. The world started from Africa, in my opinion, and that's why we are a little bit of everything. So I'm not trying to take her Blackness from her. However, my husband was bringing up, there's a movie called Passing, and that's actually a thing that used to happen back in the day. And my husband brought up the point, and I said, okay, Mr. Best, you're on it this morning, that this is a woman who is comfortable with being able to pass for not being Black, but she leans into her Blackness when she's around other Black people. I said, well, damn, you clocked that faster than me, Mr. Best. You clocked that faster than me, but it's the truth. He was right. Shayna said that pissed me off real bad. She's a biracial body, period, not a Black queen. Thank Shayna. What I should have been gave Shayna the link.
Right. Shayna, you should have been up here this morning. Lord Jesus. That was exactly how he took the words right out of my mouth too. I said, oh, so you Black when it's convenient for you to be Black. I see it because you don't operate, you don't look. I mean, you could tell she had, in some confessionals, she did look like Kiki Wyatt to me. But
she does, yeah.
Yeah. But in other terms, I don't like that, because to me, you're trying to make certain stereotypes that you're doing based on one ethnicity of people. And I don't like that she does that. Because I see it in her. So that's why I'm like, the fact that he did that, that's what makes him a dumbass. Because first of all, that was disrespectful as hell to Black people. And then two, why would you glorify that in such a way? Because there's other aspects of her that I know that you know for sure that you could have canvassed on her other than what you just did.
That's a good point.
Just throw him away.
I like that you see, and that's why it's good to have multiple people, because I think a lot of people will let him get past, will let him get away with a lot. I'll let him get away with a lot. I have a feeling that his dating history, as it relates to African-American women, are women who can pass for not being African-American, who are biracial, and or if they are fully Black, or just lighter in complexion. Because people like to talk about the colorism issues and things that exist, especially in shows like Housewives of Potomac and things like that. But in the Black community, a lot of those rooted colorism issues, yes, they come originally from the things we went through in slavery. But then when you think about that narrative being pushed in recent times, look at the 90s, men quoting about how red bones was better in the 90s. Now you got songs and people are preferencing chocolate women, but it's like, just like what you like. You don't have to speak and say that one type or shade is better than the next. But he gives me somebody who would project those like ignorant stereotypes.
Because if he got somebody, because here's the thing, aesthetically and biologically, a Black woman can see him a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
A Black woman. So you got dumbass, insecure ass Charlie here who overlooks everything. Because yes, she was mad about the kid thing, but she wasn't as mad. She was mad that she didn't listen to her intuition to say that he was in fact cheating. But the problem was she wasn't even mad at the baby. That's really what it was, because she couldn't be. That would be a hypocritical thing. But to me, I just feel like she doesn't look at a lot because she's not programmed biologically looking at her ethnicity of her being black to know that this black man playing in her face.
Yep.
With the bullshit. She's not looking, she's looking at how cute he is. And that's why I say y'all have to overlook that shit at times.
No shade to him though. He doesn't give straight when I look at him.
He's not, I don't see it either. And you know what's
funny? He doesn't give it.
When we get on my channel, there's another individual that does not look straight to me that is playing in women's faces.
See, but yeah, they irked me. Don't call her a black queen. As Shayna said it, that is our biracial baddie. She's a beautiful woman.
She is.
But listen, if slavery was to come back tomorrow, which it seemed like they trying to work towards in the current administration,
exactly.
Okay, my ass will be sold off and put into the field.
My ass will get hung.
He could get away with hiding.
I would be on the nearest tallest tree.
Yeah, it's true. That's how they did.
Because for so many reasons other than me being black. So yes,
it's a mess.
It is. It's a mess.
It's a mess. But I don't like also that he's trying to claim and she's black. I want them to know about this. Like, if y'all was doing great things, fine, but y'all are a joke. Please stop embarrassing our people. Right. We gonna move on to Alicia and our Irvin, but I'm gonna call her Alice because she act like somebody named Alice. She has an autoimmune disorder and disease, some type of a skin condition. I did look it up. It looks like an autoimmune disease that's similar to lupus or psoriasis that impacts the skin. She basically said that she has decided to change her life by going on a health journey, because when you have an autoimmune disease, you're more at risk for things. You're more at risk of your health becoming a risk as a whole, and your health threatening your life. So I do hear her with that, but I don't like this bitch. There's a lot that's wrong with her. And I clocked it in episode 1. She's a pretty girl who knows that she's pretty. And I think that she is the reason that she is single. And she showed it. Now, she says and brings up her autoimmune disorder to say to us that she wants to respect her body and not share her bed or have sex. Well, then maybe your dumb ass shouldn't have signed up to meet this man by coming on the show. You only been with him for 5 months. If this autoimmune disorder makes it to where you feel like you have to protect your body to this extent, and you knew that you were signing up for a show that required you to come into a house and to share a bed with the person, what the hell did you expect? So I'm kind of annoyed with her. They do the activity, and Irvin draws on her he draws on her back, and she's just complaining. She's like, I don't really like my back being touched. Bitch, you don't like anything. You don't like your back being touched. Okay. You don't want him to hold your hand. You had a problem with the date. Dancing's too close. You don't like anything but that glass that you keep real close. And I find that interesting because you talk about how you want to go on a journey and that your body is the most important thing to you because of this autoimmune disorder that you have. Yet you the one next to Kiki, who we see keeping the bottle close, keeping a glass in your hand. Just because it's wine, just because you drinking mimosas, does not mean you ain't just sitting here drinking. So if you really viewed your body as something that you need to protect and had an autoimmune disorder, do like Toni Braxton, drink less. Do like Candy Burris, don't drink it all. So I called BS on her. She irked me. He did draw angel wings on her back. And you could tell she felt kind of stupid when they asked, like, what did you draw? And he's like, she was tripping on the back. And the host is like, well, you didn't really have consent to do that, which bothered me because he wasn't going to get any consent from this woman with anything. She has to be in control. She has to lead. Alicia gives me the energy of she wants a yes man. And I wish that she would just get a dog, because a dog will follow you the same ways. It'll lick you and give you kisses. If you ask them if they pretty and you train them right, they'll even bark. Okay. Why are you going after a man if you don't want him to touch you? You don't want him to get to know you. You have this big wall up. She's just annoying in this activity. But how'd you feel about their little portion of the activity? We're going to come back to them, though.
Yeah, I'm going to save my opinion for the end because I'm going to jump ahead. I just thought in that exercise she was way too difficult, and I feel like for me, I don't understand why you came on the show either. But we're going to talk about them more at the end because I'm going to jump ahead.
It's like you doing all of this after talking to him for 5 months. Like, it's not, to me, if you've been talking to somebody online for 5 months, like in today's time, it's easier to date people online from what my single friends say. It
Yes.
seems to be easier to find people online versus back in the day when you're just out with your friends and meet someone, or at Starbucks and someone's like, hey, call me. You're like, it doesn't seem like that's happening anymore from what I hear from my single friends. Everyone I know who's found love has found it on the internet. Hell, myself included. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with them, but we're gonna come back to them because she's gonna be red for filth.
Oh,
For
absolutely.
absolute
I can't wait to do it.
Now, Cinco and Jay, we're not gonna waste too much time on some of the other couples. Not much happened. Jay drew love and peace and a tree to represent him wanting kids. He did well. They were probably the only couple that listened to the exercise, participated, and also drew things that related to their relationship and the talks that they've had. Maybe she has the right mode by hopping in the shower with that man just immediately.
Actually,
Maybe.
when I thought about that, that was actually brilliant. Her
Get it
logic
out
was
the way.
brilliant. Yeah, her logic actually was brilliant. And the reason why I say that is because they got the awkwardness out of the way by both being willing to be physically intimate first, and then throughout the exercise, they're even more comfortable because now everything they've talked about comes into perspective. Not everybody can do that, though. I'm one of those individuals that can't do it that way, unfortunately. But I saw the logic because they're both the same person.
The logic is there. When I met my husband, I was young. I was 16. Hadn't done sex, so that wasn't a discussion. But when I got with him, we did it the first night, and I do think it helped to move things along. We also were talking online for 6 months prior to meeting in person, so it did help to move things along. It's okay to be late, Quay, and you're not too late. Welcome in, and happy Sunday to you. I'm happy you're here. That's all
I'm
that
happy to
matters.
see you. Thank you for being here.
Lord help us. But I mean, I think people should do what they want. If you're having sex responsibly, then I don't see any issue with having sex when you're ready to have sex, because eventually it's going to come out how you are and who you are. So I don't see the issue, but I don't know. They're normal thus far. Something, I can't read them yet, so I'm gonna wait. But they did well in this activity. Ty and Brittany are the next couple that participated. She drew some roses and said that he makes her feel pretty. They did okay. I wasn't moved. You could tell Brittany is still got like some sort of a wall up, but I have to also remember Brittany and Ty are older, not super older, but they are seasoned as adults. So I don't feel like, and then with her kid, you could tell that's like her main focus. So I don't know. We'll see. I feel like more will come out with them as we go. They're probably that couple that's going to wait till like the season's almost over before we like really get to know more about them. Alexis and Chris.
Oh God! I just realized
Alexis,
who I was like, wait, which one is them?
They've been dating for a year. We already know some crazy stuff happened because on their first date, she was like, "Are you ready to give me my public apology?" And I'm just looking like, ugh. And now I see like why he would have cheated. Like, nobody wants to talk about this. It's really bad to cheat. It's not okay ever. But if I had to be with somebody like her, the Gemini in me would be cheating on her left and right.
No, and the Taurus of me would break up with her right away because I ain't got time for that. Lady, you're exhausting.
She's exhausting.
You are exhausting. And the problem that I have with her is that, do you want a man or do you want a child?
Thank you, James. Let the people know. Thank you.
Because I'm confused by her altogether. Like, I need to understand this. Do you want a man or do you want a baby? Or do you want to raise somebody? Because her control mechanisms is not so much that she wants to be in charge of the relationship. Her control is chastising. And I can't deal with her. I'm sorry.
He kept saying, "You did not ask me permission. What are you doing?" And she was like, to be meeting someone for the first time, man or not. And I feel like with women, people receive this more, but with men, especially straight men, they don't. He just met you. Who's to say that he's not uncomfortable with your hands going down toward his crotch? Who's to say?
Right.
They said paint the available bodies of skin that are out. This bitch is reaching her hands in the paint all into his pubic hairs and groin area. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing? But I think the biggest thing is women like her, and there are a lot. I have friends like this, and I feel for them. Great people, great friends, terrible lovers, terrible in relationships. If you want a traditional relationship and a traditional man that's going to lead you, take care of you, and essentially be head of your household, which Alexis has expressed wanting, how can he do that when you are in his way? You say you want him to do things for you, but you don't let him do things for you. You have to control stuff. You also have a double standard, Alexis. What you can do, he can't. Because if he would have been touching all over your body without any consent, you would have had a problem. And you're not that cute to be acting like that, girl. Fix that wig. You not. She is not cute enough to be doing all of that. Not for a man her age or older.
She's not cute enough. It's just I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary. I just don't think it's necessary. Like, and I think that's why she dates younger. I really do. I think she dates younger because she can control them. And see, and he's not young enough for you to. You needed somebody that was 21 that got mama issues.
That's damn. Well, then that'd be grooming. She can't win if she lose.
well, hell, if it worked for her, it worked for Kirk and Rashida all these damn years, and we don't know these motherfuckers. So obviously, like, let it be what it is. It's wrong, absolutely. But some people, old habits die hard. You can't teach old dogs new tricks. So it's like, what can we do?
The host even had to explain to her. Toronto was like, Alexis, girl, why did you even do all of that? You didn't ask him no questions. You didn't get consent. You just took lead and did what you wanted. This was not an activity to lead to sex. It was an activity to see your communication skills. And she failed. Now, when it's time to paint Chris, or for Chris to paint her, I was cracking up. He must have drew. He said, I can't even get the correct shape of all the sides that come on an actual stop sign. He said, I'm just going to draw a big ass rectangle on her back that says stop. Let that man be a man. But I'm looking at him and I'm just like, there's something with him that's a red flag to me to even want to, one, date a woman so much older than him, and two, to talk to someone so long who clearly has control issues that he has spoken about that she refuses to ignore. And it seems like he said, his exact words were, she's controlling and argumentative. Nobody wants to deal with that. Man or woman, I think we have to stop assigning stuff to gender. No one wants to be in a relationship with someone of any type who is controlling and argumentative. It's draining.
I'm going to speak more on that when we get to his conversation with Jared.
Oh, yeah, because that was
the teller. Honestly, that was the teller. So we can move on because I'm going to hold that opinion of him when we get to that part.
Now, Tatiana and Clevasia, I don't really have much to say about them, y'all. Tatiana, girl, your body is banging.
It really is. She is stunning.
She got what they pay for. That's it. That's all I got.
She's my favorite so far.
I like her. Yeah.
She's my favorite so far.
She's one of the few women on this cast that can actually tolerate. I like her. I feel like I could like Brittany if that wall was down, but I like Tatiana a lot. You can tell she's confident in herself, and I hope that she actually acts appropriate. Quay says she cannot wait for that part.
I know you can. I feel like I'm gonna go because I'm going deep on that because I felt like I was looking at something that I was like, I got you. I got you.
Now, we have more red flags in this activity from Charlie and Jared. Did anybody peep that Charlie mentioned how she got his name tattooed on her, but he don't have her name tattooed on him? Why would you tattoo the name of a man that you've never met on you? I just want to know. And it's like, she's pointing it out. And I'm like, normally I'd be like, oh, he doesn't have your name, red flag. But the bigger red flag is, why would you tattoo the name of somebody that you've never met onto your body?
Because to me, I feel like this is a pattern for her. I feel like this is a pattern. I feel like what we're looking at is that Jared is probably the representative of men that she has, like those children's fathers. I feel like he's exactly what those children's fathers are, and he's going to do exactly what those children's fathers did, which is leave. And
Huh.
that's not to no and that's not to no slight to her, because oftentimes all of us pick wrong people at some point in life.
Mm,
But the problem is that if we don't learn from those situations and scenarios, we continue to repeat them.
mm.
And I
That's
feel like
true.
and I feel like what I'm looking at with her specifically is she's repeating a pattern, and I think she feels because this is a very unique situation that this situation shows up differently. And he may be the nicer out of the bunch, but it doesn't take away his traits. And to me, his traits are very sneaky, dismissive, and then also very elusive, meaning that he's very slow in terms of like catching cues. Not so much with women. I mean, not so much with men because he can catch them, but with women, he's very off. And I'm like, I'm trying to really puzzle him because he's very puzzling.
Ciao. Now, Kiki and Brandon, there's not much to say there. They did okay. He claims he likes submitting. He's a just giant red flag. Both of them are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for promoting body positivity. Not everybody is thin as hell, but I'm also for promoting health. This girl can barely walk. She's literally waddling around, struggling to breathe, and very insecure about her weight. And I want them to figure it out. They're both red flags to me because you could tell that she's the type to just date anybody, in my opinion, because of her weight. She gives that energy. And I don't get him, but he's a bigger red flag. She could figure out herself. I don't know about him, so I don't have much to say on those people. Do you, James?
Other than I think that she's a fetish for him.
Yep.
That's the only thing that I'm seeing when it comes to these two is she is a fetish.
She is.
And he's treating her like one. And
he is.
I feel like I don't like that because to me, you should love somebody regardless of their size. It shouldn't be a motive to where you trying to get some deep down fantasy about yourself off on someone else. That's kind of messed up. It really is. Unless the fantasy is something that is a small part of what you enjoy. To me, he's making it his mission, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, and I feel like that's the red flag.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Shayna says Charlie needs to stop having kids with every man she dates, her and millions of others.
Yep.
They do it and then wonder why they have trouble dating. Girl, you come with 4 pieces of baggage and your own stuff.
And then
figure it out.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of parent you are too at the same time.
Well, not a good one. If she stepped away from a child just 30 days in, her placenta ain't even fully healed.
Okay, all that afterbirth and girl, I just can't. Yeah.
Stop it. Like, I can't stand her. Can't stand her. Anywho, y'all, we gotta get back to the other couples. I just really was irked and am irked by this whole show thus far. So back at the house, everybody's done with the activity, and Britt and Ty are going to be cooking dinner. It sounds like that's the way that they're going to be doing things in the house. Each person cooks dinner. Get your budget up on, because catering in California, there's places y'all could have catered Chipotle. There's so much that y'all could have done for cheap.
Y'all could have got somebody from social media and promoted them on the show. In return, have them cook for services and just pay for the
sure
food.
Also, like, just brand deals, the same way that brand deals exist here on YouTube exist on a show. I'm sure some company would have been willing to advertise their food on this show and not, charge like a business for business, a trade deal of some sort. They could have done something, but okay. They're cooking the dinner, and Alicia comes in. They're in the mode cooking, and she's bitching about vegan butter. And I was annoyed because he was like, what, you don't eat butter? She's like, I mean, sometimes. Well, bitch, if you eat butter sometimes and you're not fucking vegan, then what the fuck is the problem? Why are we hearing your mouth? Do you have a food allergy? No, this is a choice. Unless you have a motherfucking food allergy or your dumb ass can tell me that this is your religious preference, shut the fuck up and put the cigarette out. And in that order. What? I annoyed because that's the one thing I hate. Don't be coming up in my kitchen while I'm whipping
I'm
the foot
telling
of the
you,
wrist.
that lady got on my nerves. Like, we gonna get to it at the end. Trust me, y'all, because
She
I'm about to read
pissed
her for
me
absolute
off.
shit.
Get the hell out my kitchen, you and your wig, bitch. The synthetic lace may fucking
See,
melt.
this is where I would have broke the. This is my scene where I would have broke the fourth wall and said, "Can we order something for her, please? Because I'm not gonna have this. I'm just not gonna do this." And it was the way she did it. Like, if she would have did it in a way where I would have said, "Look, I am vegan and I do want to consider, my
She
dietary
said she's from
needs."
Philly and that's where she lived. I have a lot of subscribers for Philly. Can y'all please tell me? Please tell me, because I'm pretty sure cooking, regardless of where you at, is standard. If you knew that you was gonna have this issue, you should have told production that prior to
Yeah,
coming on the show.
I agree.
And then she comes in and talking to him, and he's like, I mean, we're cooking for the whole house, so I
Yeah,
can't just. He had already seasoned all of the meat. Like, you come in there too, and this is what I hate when people do, just a pet peeve. Don't come in here after you already smell something cooking and see water boiling. Don't you then come in here once stuff is completed asking and telling me stuff. If you knew that it was their night to cook, you should have pulled them aside ahead of time and been like, would it be possible for you to make me a separate little dish without that? But she didn't have to do that because she said herself to him while bitching, sometimes I do eat butter. And then she caught herself in a lie if you watch it a couple times, because I kept rewinding and I said, wait, first your argument was butter. You only do it sometimes. Then he was saying he has to cook with the oil. How else is he supposed to sear the seafood on the skillet? You're going to need some oil. And then it goes from when she's arguing with him because he's asking her questions and she's like, I was asking because oil gives me mucus. It makes my mucus act up. Bitch, take a Benadryl, a Zyrtec, I don't know, NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, daytime, whatever, that's whatever you got to do. There are so many OTCs that she could have took, and it was stupid. He tells her the whole house is who he's cooking for, and she was just very selfish about it, extremely sedity as well. Let them cook. And she says at the end of all of it, I'll just make my own food. Well, bitch, if you could make your own food,
what are you arguing for?
then you come in and just say, hey, is it okay if I steal a stove eye? Because I got diet restrictions, but she doesn't. This is a preference and a choice. So what pissed me off, though, is how he's speaking to her and she's getting rude about the food. And he's like, well, it's the whole house. You can't expect us to just cater to you. Why are you yelling at me? That man did not yell at her. If anybody feels that man yelled at her, please tell me. I didn't feel he yelled at her. And Brittany, because he got a lady name, I keep forgetting. Sorry, y'all. But Brittany is trying to tell him it's not worth it to argue with her, which I saw because she's the type of female where if you're a man and you step to her, it doesn't matter what you say or how you say it. She's still going to treat you as if you are yelling at her. She is a black Karen, is what I'm saying.
She's dangerous, and we're gonna get more into that at the end. She's dangerous.
She's extremely dangerous
woman, and I fear for anybody who has been with her in an intimate relationship. I fear that I hope you didn't have to do jail time over her.
Somebody probably did, and I knew something was off. You could tell that she's pretty and she's sedity, and I think she knows it and leans into it and thinks she can get away with more. She also gives me someone who she's not used to being in a space with lots of African-American people.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell when you've been around black folk that's comfortable.
The entire time. She was poking and prying, and then as soon as someone gave her an act of accountability towards her, that's when she became the victim.
Yep. I'm sick of her. So after the whole yell thing, she walks away. He goes back to cooking like, fuck you, bitch, as he should. And it was funny because she runs to Irvin, who she is dating, and she's like, he yelled at me. I said, bitch, to tell the truth and shame the devil. That's what you need to do. Because why? Why would you run to this man and then try to bring him into drama? And that's something that I hate. I have a husband that will ride for me and go crazy. Trust and believe, I do not call my man if I feel disrespected by another man. I do not call my man unless I'm like genuinely being screamed at and just feel threatened. Like it has to be bad. Because if I call him, even if I'm offended and I'm like, yeah, babe, this guy at work, he was just rude. He was like, I'm not going to say thank you. My husband will pull up and be like, nigga, what? What we doing? So I
Trust
feel
me, I
like
wouldn't be able
if
to get out
you're,
the phone fast enough for mine because hell, he ain't got no chill. So yeah.
but when you're with someone, especially as a woman, like when you're with someone, you have to be very careful if you care about them to also recognize that though you may be upset or offended, you want to protect your partner. If you know that your partner is going to fly off the handle, right? Then you're not going to call Gio and be like, ugh, this motherfucker got on my nerves.
Yeah,
And
no, I'm not
even
gonna
if
call.
just that, you're not going to call. And that's a protection.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call
He
because first
went
of all, there's nothing that I'm in that I can't handle. So let's be very clear. That situation she brought on herself. So for her to go up in there to that man and then flip the shit to say that this man yelled at me, it's like, no man, you telling half the damn story. Because even if he did yell at you, it was out of frustration because you were being difficult.
women like her are how people sometimes end up in jail off shit that they didn't do. Like she gives me the type of woman where if her man yells at her,
She
she
called the
gonna call
police.
the police.
Yep, that's
She
exactly
gives
right.
that energy. She the old cop calling asshole. She gets
Yep.
on my nerves. And I was glad that Irvin did see through it. He saw through it. She's high maintenance. And he was just like, oh, that happened. Okay. Like he could see, like, okay, so when you're not making a problem with him, you're making a problem with whoever else is around. When you could really just sit your happy ass still, curl your wig, and drink your liquor that you keep in your hand at all times.
She's just dangerous, y'all. And if y'all don't pick up on this, I don't know what the hell, because this is not funny.
It's not.
This is gonna turn into some like her type of danger is serious. Like, thank God this is a controlled space, but I feel like outside of the parameters where it's not a controlled space, she's a danger to society. She really is.
Oh Lord, let me get the comments before we move forward. Christ said her delivery was stank, demanding, and hella entitled.
It really
Yep,
was. Yep.
yep. She was gross. What's good, twins? What up, James? Hi, Shani. I don't watch this show, just showing some love. Was trying to be here earlier, but there was a fight and the cops was on the block, so I had to be nosy. Black people.
Black people. That's right.
The nighttime sniffly, stuffly head, so I can rest medicine. Yep. She is a rat. She gives that. She gives that. Now, the situation also reminded me before we move fully forward of Dominique last season. Dominique and Alexis, the ones who got put off the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why OWN would allow this lady to go rogue like this, knowing what happened in season 1, but okay, OWN. But Alexis and Chris are chilling while dinner's being cooked. He's sitting on the couch, and she comes over, or he comes over, however the hell it went, and she complains about touch. Something about how he was rubbing her thigh, and y'all, I was so fed up with this. I'm reading my note. Once again, she did too much. She's overly aggressive and they not gonna last. That's how I feel. Alexis is her own problem. I can't see any man putting up with her that's confident in himself as a man. Like, I can't see them putting up with her. I see a man hit it. They'll bend her over, let her drop it low and spread it wide. But I can't see a man dealing with someone like this. And that applies to any type of a man, a gay man, a straight man, a trans man. I can't see nobody wanting to date her. She's impossible.
No, it just makes me wonder what man hurt her.
That's not an excuse, though. People get hurt.
Honestly,
pain is not an excuse to act that way.
It's not an excuse, and I 100% agree with you. But women oftentimes hold on to behavior traits based on how they were treated in a relationship that may not have served them well. And I feel like, for me, looking at her, I feel like we're looking at that particular situation. It seems like everything that someone has done to her, she collects it, and then she treats the new men in her life.
Oh, well, not our problem. That ain't nobody's fucking problem. And let me tell y'all this. I'm studying to be a therapist right now. Got 2 years left. I'll tell you this right now. Every therapist in the world will probably agree. Oh, fucking well, too bad. Like I said, what you went through in the past is not an excuse and does not make it okay to behave a certain way in the present, regardless if you've taken on that trait. If you struggle with dating so much and all of these men who did not do you, like the one that caused you this pain, are telling you the same things, then at some point you have to hear what people are saying and either choose to work on yourself, choose to get to help. Otherwise, she's gonna go in this circle. She reminds me of that girl who was crazy with the dreadlocks, the faux locks last season. I can't remember her name.
Yes, I forgot her name. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
She reminds me of
Yes.
her.
Yes.
She
That
reminds
is
me of that
exactly who
chick.
she is.
It's
That
like,
lady was crazy. Yes, I remember that.
when are people going to understand that? Everyone deserves love, and Alexis is probably a great person, but as it relates to dating, the way that you were didn't work before, and the way that she's doing things now has not worked. Yet she's still choosing to do things this way. At some point, your trauma, your pain, whatever you experience is not a reason or excuse to put that onto a new person. Also, you chose to forgive him, Alexis. You chose to forgive him for talking to other people. And it seems like she's still kind of holding that grudge, because it was weird that she even wanted the public apology. I agree with Quay. I don't think he like her for real. He just want airtime. He don't like her. James said that episode 1 too. I don't think that Chris likes Alexis like that. I just don't. Like, he just seems drained.
I actually disagree.
You disagree? You didn't last week.
Okay, here's the thing. This is not what I'm not disagreeing that initially he doesn't like her or anything. I think, and as I said, we need to get to that conversation with him and Jared, because that's when I'm gonna prove my point. That conversation changed my mind. That's why I'm gonna say I disagree.
Well, we will come back to that because that's gonna be next. Shani said, James, are you okay? You keep looking aside like there might be a stranger.
No, my man is sending me text thirst traps.
I be telling him he don't gotta be on camera here, but I'm sure he's fine. He wouldn't be here if he wasn't fine.
When I tell y'all I would have screamed and hollered, y'all would know I'm in trouble. I don't have no chill, but I tell you, I would have screamed, and it's like,
it would have sent a bat signal or something.
Trust me. Y'all would know if something wasn't right. I'm not someone that keeps silent. I'm a holler in this house. If somebody
right.
a stranger did.
I say, you in a house full of Black people. We know.
Really am.
We
so,
hear
yeah,
it.
I'm good. I'm good.
Lord help us. Now, we go moving along, y'all. The two, she says that, no, he's not leaving. I just tell him he doesn't have to show it because I don't show mine. I used to. Then I got tired of putting makeup on and shit to come on the internet. I said, I'm just talking. I just need my voice. Now, not Chris. Oh, I skipped the note. The Lying Fools. They announced that they each lied about their kids and stuff at the dinner table.
That's so stupid.
That's
so stupid. Girl, I'm trying to keep, but I tell you, I've tried to keep focused, Quay the Canary Dive, because that man need to go to church. Because I'm telling you, it is not. Yes, I'm over here sweating now. Where are my tissues? Lord Jesus. I'm over here sweating. I'm telling you, I'm over here just sweating and just like, they're making me nervous.
I can't stand you. I can't stand you. Now, the Lying Fools, they announced they got kids that they've been lying about. They both had a kid on each other. They both got some kids they lied about. I don't know why they felt the need to announce it. I'm not. And it seems like they're just looking for a moment of relevancy on the show. So it makes me like lean away from talking about it, because don't use your kids as a way to be interesting.
No, they're both looking for validation, especially Charlie.
Yeah.
It's validation. She gives me insecure in that way, where she needs validating that, look, y'all, we both had secrets, and
it's definitely insecure as it relates to birth control.
Damn. Okay.
I don't understand it. It's just like Herbie wanting us to feel sorry for them.
Because I expected that goofy shit from him. It's just with her, I would think after 3 kids, you would be in a space where this doesn't have to be some immediate attention grab. But the fact that y'all did this, y'all with y'all goofy asses, I can't.
And in the time of digital media, this is a part of kids' life. Everything you do, if you choose to come on television, your kids can Google and look at.
I fear for these kids, especially a 12-year-old, because you in a critical year. So
you have your children literally in hiding, which is crazy to me. Which is crazy.
Because somebody can easily pull up, well, your own mama don't even claim you.
Yeah.
In the schoolyard. Y'all know how these kids, you know what it was like in middle school. That baby finna go to middle school. Y'all know what it was like. Kids were crazy. So I feel for them kids. I do. And I hope the Lord just protects them and hope that nobody watches this crazy ass shit.
I'm sure God blessed them with some good grandparents.
Please.
Now, this is where we also learn that Kiki is holding some secrets from Brandon. And I was annoyed with that because then we also learn, what is that man's name who's with the other girl?
Who? Oh, you're talking about the one that's with
Clayvasia.
Yeah, I was yes, he
Clay.
has yeah.
We also learned in the confessional that he has some kids. So through the fools announcing that they've had kids on each other, we learned that Kiki's holding secrets, but we know she's a drunk, we could tell. And then we also learned that Clay is going to eventually have to tell Tati, which I hate, that he has a baby. And I'm looking and I'm just like, why did OWN cast a bunch of people intentionally who all have secret kids? Like,
I don't understand the whole concept of hiding your children from people you're dating.
But if OWN is going to do this, like casting wise, y'all could have made a separate show, like kind of like Caught in the Act Unfaithful on MTV,
right,
or like Cheaters. They could have made a show like dedicated to people exposing that they have a kid or a secret to tell. Like, why do it in this way? These are just supposed to be online people who haven't had the opportunity to meet in person, meeting in person. It's become a bunch of people who've been lying to each other online, who lacked enough security within themselves to see that, damn, if I haven't met him and he'll do this, what will they do when I meet them? Like,
hello,
people are slow. Something wrong with them. But Tatiana and Clayvasia do end up in a private suite. Things whenever they went the way they went. He's still off to me, but I don't trust no man from Atlanta, so I'm not surprised. I'm not. Sorry. Now, Chris goes and sits down to talk with Jared. And in my head, I'm like, why are you talking to the person who just revealed a secret? Like, go get advice. I hate when people seek advice from people who don't know shit themselves. This man don't know how to keep himself faithful or his woman faithful. Yet you're going to go and talk to him for advice, which concerns me. I hope Tatiana leaves him when she finds out about the baby. I feel like she will, but then I'm also feeling like she might act like it's a problem on the show, or she'll tolerate it on the show, and then after she leaves the show, it could be a different thing. So I feel like with them, we have to see because we don't know enough. But I hate that. Shani said, dang, homies, I'm all over the place. I thought I missed James' review about the sons and mothers, but that's for tomorrow. I hit my notification.
That's not for tomorrow, Shani. That's right after this one.
Yes. I was like, what? I thought it was today, James.
No, I just double checked to make sure I didn't mess up on that. No, Shani, that's today. That's literally right after this one.
It's okay, Shani. It's Sunday. You get a pass. Apologies all for sniffling in your ear. I'm getting over the flu. I'm struggling. But they talk, and Jared, basically, Chris says that he has several concerns about Alexis. It sounds like she has had several control issues in their relationship. I feel like he just needs to listen to his gut. But I also don't understand why you would seek advice from somebody in the house who's equally as toxic. Like, what y'all got to understand is Jared may put on a good face by smiling. Like, if you look at his picture, and if we judge a book by its cover, which we're not supposed to do.
Like, let me tell you something. If I didn't know nothing about him, he's definitely my type. So but when you know him, it's like, oh no, you full of shit. So
and you okay with your bitch having not just like he got 2 kids, she got 4. That's a lot. Like,
and they baby children too. Yeah, at that. So it's like, oh yeah, no.
And people don't like this, but I remember learning in school that I was so surprised that when people get married, the most successful couples get married. When you introduce children, you increase your rates of your relationship not lasting by over 80%. And that is of all races, of all backgrounds, all of those different things. So it's not saying it can't work, but kids do interrupt you being able to just be with your person because you have to tend to the kids. They're living beings. They're humans. So they're going to have it 10 times harder with all of this mess. But the conversation was weird. I'm gonna let James take the floor and comment, because I just felt like, why are you talking to him, dude? You're so stupid. But
Sometimes, as I said, God protects babies and fools, and I feel like Chris understands that. To me, I felt like the bigger message is when he said he had 9 step parents between both his mother and his father. I said it makes sense. Alexis makes sense to me now, because to me, Alexis is the representative of his mom, and the way his mom probably is. And sometimes when you don't understand a situation, because the whole key of when he said that, to me, you don't understand why your parents continue to find people instead of just working on themselves. And he's repeated the pattern where instead of working on himself and understanding why I continue to have different people in my life and why I continue to see different people and they all have this controlling nature, you're not looking at your parents as this set example of why you choose the people you choose. Because there's no way in hell you're going to tell me that he is satisfiedly okay with choosing women that are older when the one he cheated on her with was younger.
Preach.
So for me, I feel like what I'm looking at, I guarantee if he were to bring his mama on the show, which I don't remember if they do that on this show, I don't remember. But if they do bring their mama on the show, I guarantee you her and Alexis are the same woman.
Probably. A lot of people date. I think it gets looked at more because the world is scrutinizes women more than they do men. But men do the same things. They say women look for what they didn't get or did have in their father and parents, and men do the same thing. So that's a good point. He clearly has childhood issues.
And it's childhood trauma. He almost gives me, and I have to say this, don't cancel me off. He also gives me someone who's been violated.
Who's been what?
Violated.
Yeah.
He gives me somebody who's been
canceled
violated.
for that.
Well, no, I'm just saying because people are sensitive about, why you always trying to put that on black men? Because it happens a lot of the time. And what parents seem to do is they put it all on the other parent. Hence, he had to go live with his dad in a whole nother state when he got of a certain age. And I'm wondering, because his mom has so many men in the house and his father did the same thing, has so many women in the house. I'm wondering if somebody got a hold of it. Like, because it does happen, y'all. I'm telling you, it does.
And it's also like, SA in general, just so YouTube doesn't flip out, is one of the most underreported crimes.
Yes.
And then in the Black community, it's even less reported. And when we do report it, oftentimes we are not believed. And then if you take that a step further for Black men,
yes,
they process it. There's a lot more toxic masculinity in our community with our old ideologies, even tracing back to Africa and some of the beliefs that we have. And so they don't feel as safe to say something. We learned in my family, to share some personal facts, one of my younger brothers dealt with SA from a previous step parent. He had dealt with it because my mother was married to this person for over 10 years. For my youngest sibling, that was from the time he was 5 until 17. He only told me and my sister because he knew that we experienced SA, not from the step parent, but previously. And then he didn't want to report it for a very long time, because when you're a man, you process it different. Yeah. With me, when it happened to me, I more so felt like, violated, afraid. For a long time, I was more willing to like submit and accept things from men that I shouldn't have. My younger brother, with him, you wouldn't know. It was just silence. And it reflected in some of the women that he dated and things of that nature. So I do think that men handle it differently and it shows differently, but especially Black men handle it differently. So he could have went through that. All the more reasons why it's dangerous for him to be with someone like her, because two broken people don't have the tools to fix each other.
I don't think he realizes that he's doing that because of where he was. When he started talking about his childhood traumas and how he saved both of his parents first, sometimes and I say this all the time, sometimes when you run from something, like you're trying to avoid something, you don't realize you'll run right into it. Because you don't have a clear understanding, or you don't want to be honest about what that situation had did to you. And I think, and also sometimes parents don't give you the safe space to voice what some childhood traumas could do, because they immediately take offense to it.
And I'm
With
wondering if you
men, yes.
talk to Jarrett, because Jarrett's female, Charlie, probably reminds him of his mom. She got all these kids,
Yes.
kept them a secret. Now she
Yes.
got this man with a 1 month baby at home. So it's probably a little bit of that mirroring unintentionally that he's seeing. I wish him well. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's with a person that's not good for him. This is why
Mhm.
I question age gap relationships, as
Me
Sweet
too.
Tea likes to call them,
Yes.
because if you really, relationships in general are hard because we all come into a relationship with our own stuff. But then
Yes.
when you add those age gaps in, there's, I think it puts people at heightened risk of being vulnerable. And when your vulnerability is heightened, you're at an even higher risk of being taken advantage of in some way,
Yes.
emotionally, all of that. So I hate that for him. And I feel like that's what Alexis is doing. And that's why I'm so hard on her for that. But men have pain too. Men go through things too. Men need to be heard, especially our Black men, especially our Black men. So I hate when women like Alexis and Charlie come on to a show like this and demonstrate that, because it's not the best
Because then when the
representation.
man gets angry and act out, then we want to label him.
Exactly.
Versus,
Like what's her
yes.
face did earlier. And it's like, it's
Mhm.
not fair. There's definitely a double standard when it comes to the Black man and their emotions and feelings. And as
100%.
quiet as it's kept, him and Alexis don't have a shot. Because if when you feel away, you go and you run to some other nigga to talk to versus running and clinging to your person. That's how you know that that's not your person. Like separate from all of that.
Who we
Because
talking
he
about?
ain't with Alexis and Chris. He ran to go talk to other people. He's not trying
You
to
know
run
what?
and work it through and talk to her. And I think
Because she
that,
wouldn't have heard him. That's the thing. She wouldn't have heard him.
well,
She
that's
would
what
have
I'm
heard.
saying. If you feel that way, then you're with the wrong person. If you feel like you
Oh,
can't
that's
talk
true.
to
Yeah,
someone,
that's true.
it's very simple. People overcomplicate it. If you can't run to the person you're with, then you're with the wrong person. You just are. If I piss my husband off right now, punch him in the face and do all this crazy stuff, slash a tire, whatever the hell, if I have a waiting to exhale moment, I can still run to him if I'm going through something. He'll be pissed off, but he'll put it aside for a second to support me, right? He can't do that with his person. So it's not his person. It's pointless.
Yeah.
She angry herself. Hell, I'd be mad too if my wig looked like that on TV.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna be good. Let me get the comment and then we'll get to the last scene of the show. Quay the Canary Diamond, I just love saying it. I really do. To have 9 step parents who are all controlling, telling her that, and her still be controlling with him, she's an absolute no. Thank you. Yes. Further explains the point. You know this about your partner and you're not giving them grace.
Some tells me she does not know.
I feel like she might know and forgot.
She might have an inkling, but I don't think he's opened up to her in the same way he opened up to Jared. I don't feel that way at all. And the reason why I don't feel that way is because a lot of times men get shamed immediately from situations exactly like that one. And when you have this very dominant woman and you try to open up to her about that, she'll try to turn it on you and make it some flaw of yours. When really that's not a flaw of his, that's just the environment and the product of his, upbringing. And sometimes people don't know how to separate the two.
I do think you can be a dominant woman. I'm pretty dominant and pretty controlling. I'm sure my husband is in the next room right now nodding like, yeah. But I think you can be that and also be able to hear your partners.
No, here's why I'm going to correct you, because I've known you a long time. The difference between you being a dominant woman and Alexis being a dominant woman, she's a dominant woman to her own detriment where nothing else matters but her. You're a dominant empath where there's times where you want to hear and process somebody else.
That's what I just said. You can be dominant and still be able to hear
yourself. Not her, but that's not her.
And it's not an excuse for her either. So
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But I'm just saying that's not. But from what we're seeing so far, that's not her. She's a dominant woman to a fault where she doesn't care about anything else. She only cares about how she feels and what matters to her in the relationship, regardless of what he's going through or what he potentially could feel.
She's going to take it as, like you said earlier, she's going to take it and manipulated
Yes.
versus working on fixing herself. But
Yes.
I don't ever want that to be said. Like, just because you dominant is not an excuse to not hear your spouse.
No,
Just
no,
in
no,
case
no.
somebody watching and is like, yeah, to their man next to them. Absolutely not. You can
No,
be dominant
this is the
and
wrong.
gentle.
This is why we have these conversations, because that's the wrong way to be. If you're going to be a dominant person now, that is the wrong way to be. Because you can be dominant, but then be empathetic, like my best friend here. Because she carries both traits of her personality very well. And all of the years I've known her, that she has carried both traits very well. Alexis, on the other hand, does not do it very well. And that's because there's been nobody to really correct her.
It sounds like with Alexis too, it seems like there are people who have tried to correct her, but she's just so much in her own way.
No.
People like that, I feel like you should just let her walk off the plank and see if
the reason why I don't think she's been corrected is because when Taronda tried to correct her at the thing, she just gave a stank face the entire time.
I think she's used to doing that though. Like,
but that means that you don't. That means that it's very. That means it's very seldom. That means it doesn't happen often. Because what happens is if somebody continues to bring something to you, at some point you're going to break and build an awareness around it. So
no, that's not true, actually, psychologically and statistically. A lot of people will go through stuff, and this is common, especially in trends when people practice DBT, which is a form of therapy, or CBT. People can go through stuff and understand their patterns, and people will still walk and make the same choices, the same mistakes, fall into the same patterns. Like, we can think sometimes people do need the help. I think that she's someone that will need people to hold her accountable more often, and probably could benefit from actually, like, she wouldn't just need therapy. She would need to go away and get some inpatient.
She would need to be an outpatient somewhere. Like, she would need, she needs
inpatient everything.
Yes. She needs deep rooted, yes. But what I was saying, that's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying that, no, I understand people's habitats and everything are completely. What I'm saying is that I don't think from birth to now is what I'm saying is I don't think that anyone's corrected her on behavior, because to me, she gets spoiled. She gives spoiled behavior. She gives. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like because no one's there to correct the spoiled behavior, she has not built an awareness that my ways are wrong, is what I was saying.
Shani, which comment are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out too, because I don't see one.
I was reading up, did I miss something? I see all of them. I post them as they come. Hell, I comment again if it didn't get put up, and I will happily put it up. But to my knowledge, I did. James usually tells me if I missed one too.
Yeah, I didn't see anything from you, Shane. If we did miss it, we're so sorry. Because tell us what it was. But yeah, we can move on now because we spent too much time on this. We gotta get to my views.
I'm not gonna rush it, but move forward. Irvin goes to talk with Alicia. It's the last thing. I don't even think it was worth to go over fully, because there's only so much we could say about this same thing. He talks to her and he came in calm. I actually respected him. He was like, I ain't been feeling you. It seems like, you manipulate things. She does. She manipulates, she gaslights, and she flips things when she doesn't get her way. Soon as he says that, she claims that she doesn't want to have conversations with people who are angry. I said, what? Bitch, then you don't want to be in a relationship. Y'all know it's not just sunshine and holding hands, frolicking through the field, and
right.
It's what you cannot.
It was the I feel very unsafe.
Yeah. So he responded to her and was like, well, I feel a way. It's like you have a wall up. I don't feel safe. You're making me feel unsafe. And he walked the fuck away from her, as he should. And she said,
don't walk away. No, don't walk away, Irvin. Let's talk about this. No, Irvin, don't do that. Why? No. Why should he not walk away?
You just told him that him coming to you, expressing himself, that's communication. That's what you would want. You could tell that he's mad, but he is working and controlling his anger to still speak to you with respect. He's holding you accountable, which to me is the sexiest thing my husband can do for me. Because people be scared to hold me accountable. I have a big personality. If you can hold me accountable, then you are strong as a man. You are a strong man, goddammit. You strong. Yeah. So I'm looking up like you got everything that most women would love to have in a disagreement. I'm not saying she should have just been like received it. Even if she would have argued back, anything would have been better than saying, I feel unsafe when someone is working so hard to make you feel safe. I don't like this woman. I want her to go and date clear men. Leave black men alone if this is what you're going to do.
Let's rewind for a little bit. Because the issue at hand, and this is the problem that I have with her, and this is where I'm going to read the fuck out of her. The issue at hand is that Irvin brought to you that he would like to do yoga with you, and you told him, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Only for him to find out that you were doing yoga with, I believe it was Chris. I could be mistaken with the guy. Only for you to do yoga with Chris. Therefore, he feels like you're comfortable enough to do it with a man you're not dating versus the man you are dating and here to get to know. So he feels slighted by that. And your response was to then turn it around on him to say that you don't feel safe because he's trying to hold you accountable for something that you did that you know is wrong because he does not feel included in your life as your man. That is the most gaslighting and the most asinine thing I've ever seen on national TV, ma'am. Like, because for you to sit up there and try to turn it around on him to make him look like something he was not being on national TV so you can have an excuse to say, oh, this black man was this black man was that. Ma'am, how dare you? Ma'am, how dare you? Because that was very manipulative and that was very condescending of you to do. And Irvin, I'm going to tell you like this, brother, you deserve better than that. Right. Because you have done nothing wrong this entire time, and all she's done is play in your face and spread little semantics here and there, and then overall trying to manipulate everybody in the house. It wasn't just you; it was the other old boy that she was also trying to do the same thing to just before she got to you.
This and he caught the pattern. He caught that pattern because he said something earlier about that. So I don't like it. I encourage Irvin, go listen to Neo's second album. There's a song called Go On Girl. He put it on there because people forget he wrote Beyonce's Irreplaceable. There's a male version that was actually the first original song.
I heard it, yeah.
Okay, I love that song. Go listen to it, sir. She's gaslighting him. She's a mess. She's dangerous. She's problematic. And I don't like her for doing this. I just don't. And when she's watching this back, she's going to feel stupid because...
No, she won't. She ain't gonna think it's a problem at all.
No, she's gonna look stupid. I think she will feel it because she's gonna watch it back.
YouTubers and people who review the show
and the comments.
That's gonna tell her about her ass, and that's what's gonna make her change.
Because you tripping on this man for nothing. When you watching the show and you see other niggas got secret babies, other people got childhood traumas and dating people old enough to be their mamas and aunties. Looking back, she had one of the least problematic men on here. Because so far, because I didn't like, even though Ty was within his right, it did seem like if Brittany wasn't there, he's the type to argue with a woman that don't belong to him. He did give me that. So Irvin is one of the few men on this show who hasn't given me a ginormous red flag other than his clothes are too tight.
So Irvin and Cinco for me. Irvin and Cinco for me have been the two that I've kind of been like, okay,
not too bad.
Not too bad. Y'all are okay. All the rest of them, no. They all have given me some sensibility of like, oh no, I need to worry. I think I was a controlling parent when my son show was growing up. I needed to know where you was, where you going, how long it's going to take you to get there, when you coming back in. I need to know all that info. That's not being a controlling. That's not controlling. No, that's being a responsible parent because you know the world is crazy, and considering where you are in the world, Shani, like that's a very
and you live it right where you at. Shani,
yeah, it's like that's a very no. I don't. To me, that's not that bad.
That's not bad. That's how it was for me. A lot of my friends growing up could go out.
All that, like to me.
Yeah, in high school you have more freedom than me, but you keep.
Yeah,
I was rarely at the events and stuff like. My parents had to know where I was, the time. I couldn't go out until I proved that my homework was done. They confirmed it with my teachers, like very strict, very, very strict. So I don't think anything's wrong with that. And it helped me because I have some sense. I ain't got hella kids. I made some crazy choices, but for the most part, like I've always known that like school and bills are important. So, hey, ain't nothing. His clothes was given. His clothes are tight. Like that's the only negative I could really find, and that's easy to be fixed. And it looked like it was his muscles.
I mean,
But
To
that
me,
was
that's the aesthetic. I just feel like I didn't see any personality traits that were problematic. He is very emotionally intelligent for a black man, which is very great. He also is very he gives explicit, like very descriptive details of how he feels, what she is doing to him, how the circumstances can go left, and also he doesn't let things fester because he could have just brushed that off when she was in the room with the other man doing yoga. When he specifically asked her if he could do that, he could have went off about that, but he did not. He just brought it to her and said, "I did not appreciate that because I asked you as your man if we could do it, and then you dismiss me, but you go and do it with somebody else." I would have been more pissed about that than anything else that she did in that house. I would have been more, I think he was more pissed off about that. I don't remember particularly, but I would have been more pissed off at that because I was like, how dare you play in my face?
mm, see. Either way, this lady needs to leave the show. You don't want to be touched. You don't want to eat. You don't like butter.
I got one more thing to say. Sorry.
Mhm.
I want y'all to stop picking women like this because this is the second time y'all have done this. The other old girl from first season pissed me off the same way. She wasn't as problematic as this one is, but stop picking women like this. And I feel like y'all know what y'all be doing.
They do. I feel like, let's keep it a buck. Half of these people aren't even like long distance. Like season 1, people were like truly states away from each other. If we go back to the first episode and remember where these people live, half of them could drive to each other. Right. I live in one of the largest states in the country, over 30 million people here in California. Okay. It takes 12 hours to get from here to San Diego. Like, and people be driving. So I don't understand why people in them smaller states act like they can't make the 12-hour trek in the car or anything like that. But not, I love extra butter on my toast.
That girl,
but,
I mean, that's another thing. That girl eat butter. She ain't fooling nobody.
Yeah, it just irks me. Like 5 months dating, they shouldn't even be here. But after 5 months, if Irvin chooses to stay, then he himself is a red flag. Because this lady's a problem. But that's it for this episode of Never Ever Met. We'll be back again on Sunday. Sundays will be the day that we go over this show because we have lives and we can't be here every single Saturday. So Sundays will be here. We're going to head over to James's channel, you guys, to go over Love and Marriage Detroit, which was a fucking snooze fest that I despise having to watch. And we're going to go over Somebody's Son, which was a plagiarized TLC show. It was a combination of MILF Manor mixed in. I can't remember the name of it, but there's another dating show on TLC that's very popular where the moms are involved.
Y'all know I do not like this concept at all. So if y'all don't want to miss it, please go over to my channel and let's go ahead and get into this foolishness because y'all not gonna want to miss this. I have a lot of strong opinions on this. So I'll see you guys on my channel. Bye-bye.
Yes. But other than that, I hope everybody enjoys your Sunday. We'll be back on my channel as well tomorrow. So I love all of you and I'll see you guys later. The girl, good luck watching it. It's just a plagiarized show. But I'll see y'all on James's channel. Love and light to you all. Thank you.